Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 1053 for the 11th of January. So we're going to start off from the southern flank. In the Kherson, at the Kherson region, there is only a mention of some fighting over in the Dnipro direction by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, but not sure where exactly that is. Over at the Zaporizhia front, we have only some shelling report coming from the Russian side. They talk about shelling at Premonsky, Novo Yakovlevka, as well as over at Blakine. So that's about it. Nothing particularly special about all this. There is a major wall across here. There's no way the Russians would want to attack in this direction. Over in the Velika Novosilka sector, there is fighting being reported at Velika Novosilka, Blatske, Vidnipole, as well as Novosilka. Major development is over in the northeast of Velika Novosilka, where the Ukrainian mapping has confirmed that the Russian forces have captured more grounds in this area here in the northeast, as well as the securing of this ribbon-shaped fortification, which means that the Russian forces in this direction can now attack directly into Velika Novosilka in the northeastern district. So we shall see how this continue to play out. I saw some rumors on Twitter about Velika Novosilka falling already, but I doubt it. I don't think that is accurate information. Over in the Constantinople sector, shelling is reported at Oleksievka, a bit far away. Over at Yatarne, geolocation of Russian raising the flags over at Yatarne confirmed the Russian full capture of Yatarne. Usually I don't just declare a capture just on one geolocation of raising a flag in the middle of the town. However, this is two soldiers standing at the top of a house, which basically is visible across the entire village. And they are pretty relaxed, which means that the Ukrainian forces have already withdrawn pretty far away from this location. So I believe that after this capture at Yantarne, we're going to see some very big frontline changes until the next defense line. I don't think the Ukrainian defense line is going to be anywhere around here. It's going to be quite far away. So we're going to see some massive captures. My guess, the next defense line might be here. So maybe, and then around with Dashne, no, maybe, yeah. So with Dashne, definitely they will try to defend. So maybe it's going to be like this line. So this is going to be the next line of defense. So I believe it's going to be here. So we shall see how this go. So again, I draw it out. Yeah, it's going to be something like this. This is going to be the next defense line. So. But just important to note is that the Russians are heading in the direction of Andriivka already. So there is always the danger that this has become a massive salient again, and it's looking like this. It's quite bad, and yeah. So let's see how the Russians how the Ukrainians going to deal with this. There's no more I think crossings across the Voschar River. At least there's some. Tiny ones, not particularly convincing. The Russians are there already, so they will have to cross all over to Uklakli and then go to Constantinople, cross up to Andriivka. And if the fighting goes to Andriivka, then they're going to have problems. Then they will have to continue to go westward towards Komar, or actually go up Baharte towards Oleksievka. So, but if the Russian fighting move into Constantinople, then shit hits the fan. So so that's gonna be a terrible situation. Some geolocation of Russian forces at Kurakove and Andriivka is the Ukrainians at Momentary getting hit by FPV drone. Nothing particularly important. Over in the southern flank of the Pokrov front, Russian forces is attacking over at Slovianka, Yasinove, Novo Andriivka, Stripny, Novo Yelizavetivka, and towards Nadievka. And there is some slight frontline change over at Yasinove and over at Novo Yelizavetivka, where the Russians have made some advance in those regions. If we zoom in, we're going to see that the eastern part of this Yasinove has been taken by the Russian forces. So they have taken the east. So basically a quarter of the village is already under Russian control. The fighting continues in this sector. And the Russians seems to be also pushing towards Novoadrievka, so there's going to be some tactical problems for the Ukrainians. And over in Novoyelizaveta, the Russian forces basically with this map update means that the Russian forces have captured Novoyelizaveta. So Russian forces captured Novoyelizaveta. Jelly. So we raised the red flag around here. So this confirms the Russian capture of Novoyelizaveta, and the Russians are now already pushing in the direction of Nadievka. So this is a major update. So I haven't done a quick update on this as per this recording. So maybe I will not do it, but we shall see. Tentatively, strategically, this doesn't change a lot. But it's just a tactical change. Strategically, doesn't change the posture much. We move into the Pokrov sector. So at the Pokrov sector, Russian forces are attacking at the Chanske, Zelene, Virozhenia. Shevchenko, there's no fighting. The fighting is over at Zveryove. The Russian Defense Ministry announced the capture of Shevchenko. They make a big deal out of it. Fighting is reported at Solone. Towards Udashne, so some updates over at Solone with the Russians capturing the western parts of it. And there is geolocation over at Novovasilivka, confirming Russian advance in this area with fighting reported now at Uspenivka. So there's a lot lesser reports of fighting in this region, but it's just showing, it's just mainly the places where there is real changes or real advancement in this region. So if we take a look at this part first, if we zoom in, you can see that the Russian forces are pushing in the direction of Udashne. This confirmed with the Russians taking this mining area in the northwest of Solone. And this also means the Russian forces secured Solone on the western part, as now they can now push into the northern flank of Uspenivka. Russian forces geolocated on the southwest of Novovasilivka also puts a lot of credibility on the possibility that Novovasilivka is now under full Russian control, with Russians, of course, can now push towards Uspenivka. So that's the current situation in this sector. The other side, over in this other side, we have some updates. Of course, the Russians, as I mentioned, announced the capture of Shevchenko. We do not have any information in terms of Ukrainian concession or the geolocations to confirm the capture. They did raise the flag on the the western part, but no, we still need information on the northeast. And Russian forces also have confirmed to have secured Vrozhenia. Over the entire tree line has been captured. Russian forces also advanced more from the east towards into Zeleny, confirming that they have captured half of the settlement. So, and over in the east of Tachanske, the Russian forces also made some advance, securing the entire Gali region over there. So the Russians are also making small advancement, improving their tactical positions around here. So so that's the main thing about this the Pokrov sector at the Pokrov front. Over in the Minokrat sector, we have fighting reported at Lysivka. Geolocation of Ukrainian forces at Lysivka, which is some shelling. Russian forces are fighting at Promin region and Yelizavetivka. So that's about it. This is a static line. Don't expect too much from Minokrat. Over in the northern flank, we only have fighting reported at Baranivka. So and that's about it. There's not much of this region here because this is just a diversion. The main push is here. So this is, the Russians will still want to take this, I think. But I think that's about it. We move on to the Thorax front. At the Thorax front, after all the avalanche of information and intel, we have updates. The Russian forces is now confirmed to have advanced in the northern part of Thorax, with the Russian forces capturing this area of the city. This corroborates some of these Russian claims and confirm that Russians had advanced even further than that. So pretty much soon, we probably in the next week, we will see the fall of Thorax entirely. I think the information will come very slowly. I think it will not come very quickly because this is a very complicated region. But I shall see how this goes. Otherwise, there is mention of Dilievka, maybe some kind of fighting in that direction, but not entirely sure. So that's all from Thorax. We move into the Bakhmut front. At the Bakhmut front, we have fighting reporter at Proteshne, Stupovsky, Chasivia, shelling at Mykolaievka. Some geolocation of Ukrainian forces getting hit in Chasivia, and there is advancement over in Orikovo-Vasilievka. This is, of course, the big news, which I mentioned in the quick update. At Orikovo-Vasilievka, Russian forces basically have entered into the eastern part of the village and basically having a very strong foothold right now, which they can now attack down the entire of the settlement. But it's going to be a bit difficult because there is a lot of tree lines, and the forest around Orikovo-Vasilievka that favors the defenders. So I think we're not going to see much actions, I think, in this region for now, because capturing this wouldn't make much difference tactically or strategically, because there is massive amount of defenses and fortifications around here. Unless the Russians want to crash into the wall, yeah, but I don't think it's a meaningful place to push through. So I think this is temporary. I don't think this is going to be meaningful. We move into the Sivers front. Over at the Sivers front, we have fighting reported at Serbianka and Krakorevka. But that's all. Not sure where the fighting come from per se. Is it from the north or from the south? Is unsure. Over in the Liman front or the Crimea front, fighting is reported in the Serbianske Forestry, Torske, Zarishne, and Terni. But that's all. We don't have much other information. Moving further up north, in the Makievka region, we have fighting reported at Makievka, but that's all. Further up north, over the Borova front, we have fighting reported at Lozova, Zeleny High, as well as Novo Yehorivka. So this is Novo Yehorivka, but that's about it. So we move further up north. Over in the Pichane front, there is fighting reported at Zarizove, but that's all. Nothing much about this. Over at the Kupiansk front, the fighting is now, there's some fighting reported now in the eastern part, the eastern flank of the Kupiansk front. Other than the usual of fighting at Holubivka and Sinkivka, we now have fighting reported at Zagoryevkivka, Ivanivka, and Stepova Novoselivka. So this front line here, the action is pretty new. This is previously there's no much fighting around this sector, so definitely something to watch. Whether this will be actually a new offensive. I don't think it's meaningful for the Russians to push here. So yeah, I'm pretty not so bullish on this. Let's move on. There's no reports of fighting at Voreshna. We move on. Further up north, there's a geolocation of a Lancet hitting a Ukrainian armored vehicle defending this border region north of Voreshna. And we go into the Kharkiv front. At the Kharkiv front, we have the usual of fighting reported at Voschansk and Lipsy. These are probably skirmishes. However, Ukrainian Defense Ministry mentioned Kozacha Lopan, where the Russians are attacking there, but that's all. So nothing particularly stands out or very significant. Moving into the Kursk front, at the Kursk front, we have fighting reported in the southern flank at Kurilovka. No more fighting mentioned at Makhnovka or Sudja region. So no, yeah, I wonder what's happening right now. Over in the northern flank, we have fighting reported at Kotsitsa, Pogrebki, Novoya, Sorokina, Malaya Loknia, Nikolaevka, as well as Viktorovka. So the Russians are definitely still pushing very hard within this sector. The front line is still pretty unclear. So we have to wait for more information. And on the western flank, we have fighting reported over in Lebedevka and Nikolaevo Darino. But that's all. So everything went a little bit slower today. Or the past 24 hours. And yeah, and that's all. Some geolocation of Russian forces over in the Zurevka region along these tree lines or forest that is going around the border, the line of the border, just off Uspenovka. It doesn't actually change the front line per se. It's I saw some headlines by some people saying that like, oh, Russian forces enter into Sumy, but yeah, there is no. The Russians are not launching an offensive into Sumy. Not yet. not meaningful right now. So that's about it. So this is the summary for the day of 1053 for the 11th of January. Press the like button, subscribe, and if you want to catch all the frontline updates with no delays, as long as that means as soon as it's uploaded, you can watch it. Become a member on DPA War channel on YouTube, and I'll see you guys in the next update.